it's fair to say over the years that the British royal family have given us many sort of jaw-dropping moments. Do you agree? Of course, you know, there's all the scandals that we know about, Edward and Mrs. Simpson and things like that, which I'm sure for that particular generation in the 1930s, much have seemed really shocking, you know. It was reeled off like a soap opera every single day across all the major newspapers, making, of course, Mrs. Simpson one of the most famous women in the world. Remind you of anybody? Of course, there's been other sort of things, hasn't there, really captivate the imagination. For me, I would say in recent times, it was this. That's right, our late and glorious monarch, Queen Elizabeth, alongside another icon, possibly some might say equally as big, the Michael Bond creation that was Paddington Bear and remains Paddington Bear. I think she literally definitely left a legacy for children everywhere to learn about her, because of course she goes down in history, no two ways about it, and people are still fascinated by Queen Elizabeth, the longest reigning monarch, all of that sort of thing. But it's interesting when you look back in royal history to see how things have deviated, taken a different turn, that sort of stuff, and what could have been. And when you think about it, again, Her Majesty the Queen really did create another iconic moment with this. Let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. We'll have a quick wave. You all right? Thank you so much as ever for your time. Lovely to have your company. Hope you're genuinely all keeping well. If you're over here in the United Kingdom, or in fact enjoying your summer, I hope it's going well for you. It's not bad, yes. And if you're in Australia, I do know this, it's your winter. I know, you see, a couple of months' time, you'll be laughing again. What, we've got the coat out, standing here in the rain. It comes round so quickly though, doesn't it? That's the thing. Enjoy what you can, enjoy every moment. Life is for living. What do you mean you're leaving me now? You're off to go and live somewhere? Yes, oh, come on, give us a chance. We'll get there in the end. This image, right? Yes, all right, I'll get on with it. This image of our wonderful monarch at the 2012 Olympics really cemented what basically a lot of people never thought she would do. If you know the background to this, you know, they were very nervous about, you know, suggesting this idea, of course, to Queen Elizabeth because of who she was. Apparently she jumped at the chance, loved the idea of becoming a Bond girl. I mean, what girl wouldn't? And of course, I thought she played the part with aplomb. I was lucky enough, as many people know, and I know him, to speak to Daniel Craig, who told me that actually he was more nervous than she was. You know, she just took it all in a stride, and that was that, you know. He said he was more concerned as well about tripping up with the corgis, because seemingly they just moved away at a path for her but kept coming across him, and he didn't want to look down because of course he's James Bond, isn't he? He's supposed to be the super sleuth. But did you know that actually, while Her Majesty the Queen became a Bond girl, albeit for a brief celebratory second for the 2012 Olympics, another senior royal could have been literally in a Bond film? Let me explain. Way back in the 1950s, none other than the Duke of Edinburgh, His Royal Highness Prince Philip, was very friendly indeed with the writer, the creator of James Bond, Ian Fleming. Very good friends, in fact. And if you read the story behind this, it's fascinating, really, because what happened was the connection to the Kennedy family was, in fact, that actually it was Prince Philip that introduced the Kennedys to the works of Ian Fleming. Yeah, I mean, it's just connections, isn't it? Incredible. But what many people don't know, and this I'm sure is an exclusive to you, and this was told to me by someone who'd worked on the Bond movies for a very long time, right from the off with Dr. No way back in 1962, was in fact that what the idea was that Ian Fleming suggested that perhaps his friend might like a cameo. And they thought, well, you know, okay, we'll have a chat. Well, who is it, you know? And he said, Prince Philip. And they went, oh, really? Are you sure he'd want a cameo? Now, what really emerged, and Sean Connery backed this story up, it was going around, you know, with Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli and all that sort of stuff. The idea was really not to announce him being in a cameo, but maybe just to have him in the background at one of the gambling tables and that sort of thing, you know? But at the 11th hour, sadly, because of security and concerns regarding the script and whether he was aligning himself to something apolitical and all that sort of stuff, it couldn't happen. But of course, they came back to the idea with things like From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. And apparently Philip was really up for it, loved the idea. Let's be honest, boys. Who wouldn't want to be in a Bond film just to say even you were an extra? It's a colossal idea, isn't it? But sadly for him, his dream never came true. Of course, his wife, many years later, 50 years later, actually got the dream of actually appearing alongside a James Bond. But what could have been in fact, would have been incredible when you think. Because a lot of people, when the movie came out, the story got out that you just had to spot him. Remember, this is in the age of no DVDs and no video, so you couldn't freeze frame it. So lots of people were going along thinking, is Prince Philip in the extra thing here? And of course, they got the publicity either way. But to confirm, sadly, Prince Philip never actually became the Bond, well, dream he had hoped. Once again, all down to security. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.